Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. So if you get a chance, I definitely want you to go to this channel. It's called Let's Talk Shop with Old School. He did a very interesting, in-depth interview of myself. I'm gonna leave a link to that interview in the description, and also I'll put it in my community. And if you get a chance, please go check it out. Give me some feedback, like, support his channel. Now let's hop right up into this very, very interesting video. So yeah, you see the title. What happens, or what should you do if someone tries to take your manhood? Now, honestly, by means am I no big, bad, tough guy, but if someone tries to take your manhood in prison, to me, there's only one option. You know, you got to try to take that man's win. I look at things differently, right? The reason, outside of the blatant disrespect this dude has, whoever has tried to transgress on you in that manner, the reason you need to take this dude's win is because I believe that, me personally, people only try things on people who they think they can get away with, right? Real quick, I remember it was a well-known individual, man, who hit the yard. I won't say where he's from or whatever. Well-known, no. I'll just say he was from East Coast, right? Well-known, been down a while, a rider. His name rings bells. He hit this one particular yard that I was at. And before he got there, some dudes was cheating at the poker table. Now, I don't play poker, but to my understanding, this dude liked to play poker. This well-known Crip from East Coast, right? Well-known. When he hit the yard, you know, some dudes who was at that poker table was over there cheating. They said, oh, no, man, you better not try that stuff now. You know, they didn't want to take the chance of getting caught cheating with this dude at the table. So my whole point of bringing that up is to say that people only try things on, in my opinion, that they can get away with. You know, you very rarely, if often, ever hear of the big giant bully at the prison or whatever prisons, you know, trying to get people trying to press on this dude in that manner, you know, trying to violate that dude in that manner. So I believe that if a person tries you, it's because, and if a person tries you in any way, not only that way, you know, but if a person tries you in any way, if it's just a blatant disrespect. Now, I'm not talking about when two people happen to have a misunderstanding and they get into it. I'm talking about when a person basically blatantly tries to get over on you. He does something that he knows that's in violation in any prison, in any state, probably in any part of the world, and he tries you, maybe stealing something from you, not even necessarily trying you in a sexual way, but definitely that. But anytime a person tries to swindle you, it's because he believes he can get away with it, and he believes he can do that to you. And so for reasons like that, I believe, outside of, like I say, the blatant disrespect of a person even trying to treat you like that, I believe that you have no option but to take this dude's win, right? But keeping it 100, everybody doesn't think like that, you know. Some people don't come to prison with life. And if a person tried me like that and I didn't have a life sentence, I can say without a doubt, 100% certainty, that my reaction would still be the same. Because an individual like that needs to be made an example of, right? But you don't have everybody that think like that. You have some people who are more important, or who are thinking of going home. And to them, going home is more important than potentially trying to unalive a person in prison behind a transgression like that and get more time themselves. And so some people are basically just not going to take that route. And so some people might ask, okay, well, chill, you know, for those individuals who don't want to take that route, what are their options, right? Well, when I first came to prison back in 1996, they had a lot of main lines or general population yards. I don't know how many SNY, sensitive need yards, or back then they was called PC yards, protective custody yards, they have. I don't know how many they had back then. I don't believe they even no longer have those now, but back then I don't know how many they had. But one of his options basically would have been to go to the administration and let them know that he no longer feels safe or comfortable on this particular yard. He could have requested to go to a protective custody yard, possibly in fear that wherever they sent him again, it may happen again. Or he may have just went to the administration and said he doesn't feel safe on that particular yard, and they may have potentially sent him to the hole and then shipped him out to another prison. The bad thing about that is when they do ship you out to another prison, eventually that news is going to follow you, even way before the cell phone, because there's always going to be people at whatever prison you are at now who were with you at another prison. So eventually, the word is going to get out, right? People like to ask too, because I think a lot of people see things on TV and they believe a lot of the things that they see on TV. Now, when I got to prison, assaults of that nature definitely was not prominent. I mean, they was almost unheard of. Not to say I heard of every single incident, but I only heard of 2 incidents like that in my entire stay. Not to say that it didn't happen, right? Because I have ran into other individuals, and they said that it was pretty prominent, right? But I guess I believe it's more depending on what age bracket you were in, or what generation you came to prison in, because it definitely was something that I heard was running rampant maybe about 5 or 6 years before I got to prison. So I guess it just all depends on what time you happen to come to prison, right? But I know there was a time, or you know what? Okay, yeah, there was one more time, right? I guess I can say that something like that happened, but it was of a different scenario, and I told a story about that. And the name of that story is, let me see if I can think of that story real quick. The name of that story is he almost lost his cakes. And so I told a story about the individual, and the name of that story, I named him Wild D, and I think the other dude's name was Stank. And so we was in the Crip Tank in 3A, Riverside County Jail, and Stank tried to sucker punch Wild D. And because of that, they agreed to go in the cell and fight later on. And in that cell, Wild D at that point in time tried to violate Stank in that matter. Now, I don't think well, and this is just my personal belief, and I caught a lot of flack for that story, because a lot of dudes was like, well, damn, Chill, why did you guys let that happen? Why did you guys let that go on? First and foremost, no one let it happen. Once we got to the cell, because they went to the cell to fight, and the customary rule is when 2 people go to the cell to fight, nobody's standing on the door looking, because when you're in the cell fighting, if you got people standing around the cell looking, of course that's going to draw the attention of the correctional officers or the guards or whatever. So upon hearing one of the dudes in there go to screaming at the top of his lungs, it made me and a couple of other brothers go up there to see what was going on. And that's when we looked in the cell. The man had the dude flat laid on the ground with his boxers pulled down to his ankles, and he was supposed to go, and he was trying to go where no man had went before. Or at least we believe it due to his screams, right? And so, of course, then you had some dudes at the door say, hey, man, stall him out. Don't do him like that, so on and so forth, right? But in my opinion, the reason why Wild D was trying to do that is because he was going to, in his mind, humiliate this dude in the worst way possible, since this dude was a Crip and tried to dope fiend him and fire on him and not give him a head up fade. Now, I'm not excusing this dude's behavior. I'm not justifying his behavior. In my opinion, that's the reason that he tried that. Nor do I believe all of a sudden he got into the cell with this dude, got in a position to take his cookies and then say, oh, you know what? Let me try something new. I definitely believe dude had done that before, right? So I don't believe, I'm not saying that he got up in there and all of a sudden it came to his mind. That was something, of course, that he definitely had indulged in before. But, I had done time with this dude a couple times, and he never was running around trying to do that to individuals up in there. It's just my belief that he was trying to humiliate this dude in the worst way possible. Now, so once that situation was broken up, later on, in that particular county jail, and when I say later on, I mean like a day later, we had vending machines in there, and vending machines sold a lot of things like sodas, a lot of hygiene products. One of the hygiene products that they sold was magic shade. Magic shade was some type of concoction that you could mix up to take the hair off your head and stuff. And it was extremely strong. You put it on your head, leave it on for a while, then kind of like scrape it off with a razor. So he had bought some of this magic shade out of the vending machine, and he had put it in a carton, and he was trying to get close enough to Wild D to throw it in his face, I guess, or, to try to maim him or what have you, right? Wild D went and told some of his homeboys, hey, man, you better get your homeboy. And his homies went and told him that he had to go, right? Now, in my opinion, as I look back on things now, I kind of think Stank was somewhat looking for an out, because if he didn't really want to go, he wouldn't have went. He would have handled his mission. He would have done what he felt needed to be done due to the violation that dude tried upon him, right? So in my opinion, if you want to handle your business, you're going to handle your business regardless of the consequences, regardless of what your homeboys is telling you, so on and so forth, right? And like I said, some people ask, why is behavior like that allowed? And I guess it just all depends on your mindset. To be honest, you have some dudes who detest that type of thing, and you have some dudes who would say, hey, you know what? That's up, that's up to two men. Them is two men. They'll work it out however they work it out. And like I say, it just depends on the mindset of certain individuals. Some individuals believe that it's okay to prey on people in the worst of ways, right? And I don't know. I often get asked too, why is the black convicts who do time in prison, why is their opinions on man-on-man assault so different from the other races? And I have no answers for that, right? Like I said, sometimes it just comes to the end. It just comes down to what an individual's belief system on that particular incident is. I don't know if many of you guys have read the Monster Cody book. When he was speaking about being locked up in the Los Angeles County Jail, some of those things was going on then, he mentioned in that book, right? And like I said, when I told the story about Wild D and Stank, the name of the story once again being He Almost Lost His Cakes, I got a lot of flack, well, not a lot of flack, but I did get some flack, like, hey, chill, why don't you guys let that happen? And once again, at that time, I'm only 22, 23 years old, so I had no say-so on what happened in prison or in jail. I'm just trying to learn the rules myself. And so it's just a cold situation, but in the event a person, would try to violate another individual in that manner, I definitely believe that he would be worthy of getting whatever came to him, and so yeah, somebody just asked me that not too long ago. And I think, like I said earlier, I think that a lot of people believe things like that happen all the time in prison. And I keep telling people, I believe it does not happen. It didn't happen as much in the California prisons as it happened down south, back on the East Coast, in other prisons before the Crips and Blood things hit, and before the Crip and Blood culture migrated to these other prisons. Before they migrated to these other prisons, a lot of times it was, every man for himself in those prisons, right? And so, in my opinion, it being mano a mano in a lot of these prisons allow for things like that to happen, because when you are involved in a large collective, such as the Crips, the Bloods, and other organizations, members of your organization are not going to allow a member of your organization to be preyed upon in that manner, because it really casts a black eye upon the whole entire collective, right? And so and that's just in my opinion, because I haven't served any time in any prisons other than the state of California, right? But as far as just men running around just being violated in that manner, when I was doing time, I didn't see it happen, So anyway, if a person does, like I said, man, try to violate a person in that manner, in my mind, it's only one option, but everybody thinks different. Like I said earlier, if you get a chance also too, I did a great interview. Actually, I got interviewed by a brother by the name of Old School. The name of his YouTube page is Let's Talk Shop with Old School. It's a very in-depth interview. He asked me some great questions. I'm gonna leave the link in my description. I'm gonna also put it in my community. So if you guys get a chance, man, tap into that, check that video out, leave a comment, subscribe to his page, and let him know what you think. Anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.